This is actually really exciting. I don't know if we're amped as we should be for this matchup.
Dude, you don't even understand how much pent-up energy is inside of me right now. I could go just freaking crazy.
There we go. There's the energy we're looking for in this cast. We do have the orange Protoss player, Complexity MVP spawning in the bottom, right-hand corner. And in the top left-hand corner, we have, he is on Complexity?
He is.
MVP?
He is Complexity MVP and viOlet as well.
And I have a really nerdy thing to admit to people. Still at this point in my life, I'm 24 years old. I still can't always tell left from right until I hold up my hand and, like, your left hand makes the L symbol.
Wow.
Right? So I had to do that real quick before I could figure out what side of the map he was on. I was like, hold on. L. Okay. He's on the right side. Just throwing that out there. It's tough.
I don't know. I'll give you this. Until I was like 13 or 14, I didn't have a trick like that. It was a different thing. But yeah. So, but you know, an extra 10 years or so, they can fly by sometimes.
Bad. Yeah, kids, if you're ever looking how to learn left from right, your left hand actually makes an L if you hold.
Yeah, listen up, fucking little kids.
Yeah, you guys not in bed right now, sneaking out to watch some StarCraft. If you hold your pointer finger up and point your thumb out, it'll make an L. There you go. You're good to go.
That's crazy.
But if you have a backwards L, that's actually your right hand.
That's how it works.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh man, almost as crazy as this build we're seeing from Tails. Why is that forge there?
I think it's actually okay.
That's
where
really
excited for a second.
That's where you're supposed to come in and be like, oh, Katu, he's just going for a forge fast expand. He's not cheesing. It's actually going to be a really economic and strong build.
Yeah, it actually is going to be a strong build. I am a little surprised he's going for this cannon. He is being super safe. He hasn't scouted yet, so he's just assuming the worst and getting a cannon in case he's getting early pulled. But this delays his Nexus by quite a bit, and he could have got this Nexus down and then went for the cannon and been completely fine.
You know what the issue is that even if you go for that quick photon cannon, it just doesn't really matter because the Zerglings just run by. Maybe 2 of them die, but 4 Zerglings still go into your main and start harassing your probes and denying mining time for like the longest time. So, I don't know. He's trading, the mining efficiency of sending, a probe scout out for putting down just a blind cannon, but I don't know.
And the second cannon, Tails is playing super safe. The weird thing is this is such a late scout. This is a scout. Who scouts this late? And I guess that's he gets a little extra harvesting time in trading. I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like that cannon is a waste that early. Like you said, Zerglings can just run by. And yeah, it's nice. It's better than not having a cannon there if Zerglings run by. But at the end of the day, it's not going to save you. And his gateway's really delayed because of it.
Well, I don't know if it's super. The second cannon for sure does delay the gateway. But the first one, he does make up for it by not scouting. And now, unfortunately for him, though, he sent out his scout probe, and it got spotted by the Zergling, so it's going to get taken out. It's going to spot the hatchery, and that's going to make him feel a little bit safer. But, he's not going to be able to scout too much, and it's too early a timing, really. Because you can still go for a Roach Ling all-in off of 2 base. It's still quite viable.
He's going to feel mildly safe, but yeah, there's still a ton of timings our Zerg player could hit here. So Scout not really doing anything other than confirming that he is playing a Zerg, which I guess is always good. You don't want to be fooled there. But yeah, Tails, just getting 2 gas, making his probes. He's rallying. He's rallying all of his probes to his natural instead of really transferring a lot. A couple different trains of thought there. I guess it's not a huge deal. I always like to transfer a few more probes, but it's okay.
Well, I will state that there are 3 probes here that are mining from 1 mineral patch, and he's only got 15 in total.
Right.
Mining from these minerals. So it's actually a little bit off. So, if you're going to be that perfectionist, then you might as well go the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, not a huge deal, obviously, but then again, these are Code A, Code S quality players here, so we expect the very best out of them. We do see, I love this timing from viOlet on this Overlord here. He might not end up spotting the Stargate, but still, this is great to look for any sort of 6-gate all-ins. Just give you a general idea of what's going on. Like I said, I don't think it's going to pan out, but...
Well, he can see Chrono Boost right now, so...
That's interesting.
Like,
that's got to be,
a
like,
glitch.
the most stressful thing.
But he didn't, like, turn his Overlord at all, so he's not going to spot what it is.
Right.
And he probably just wasn't looking at that particular point in time. But the most important thing is that he's not going to spot a ton of gateways. And if you don't spot a ton of gateways, then it's like, oh, he's going for a Stargate. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's either Stargate or some like really wacky early robotics play, but usually it's going to be Stargate. I do want to point out, you know, he sent that Overlord in with every intention of losing it, but still ended up supply blocking himself for quite a long time. It's a little bit of poor planning by our Zerg player here, but we do see, you know, now he knows it's a Void, right, because he's losing Overlords outside of his main. Transferring a Queen, but his expansion could actually be in a little bit of trouble, especially if this Queen gets caught in the middle of the map.
Oh yeah, she's just about dead, and there she goes. She's going to try to run away. Another Queen coming out to try and save her sister, but might get there just a tiny bit too late.
Yeah, I don't think... Okay, he did have
nice
enough energy for one transfuse. Yeah, that might be his saving grace here. 2 of the Queens are lifted up, but he's actually going to lose his Phoenix pretty soon here. Great micro pulling away the hurt Phoenix. Does get a Queen, but I think Tails needs to... Yeah, just get out of there at this point.
Yeah, and a couple of Spore Crawlers also about to finish for viOlet. So great job there to hold on to his third base. He's now got some extra Queens as well. And he still had a lot of Larva saved up because he wasn't missing injects prior to that point. So he's still in a pretty good position. It's not slowing down his macro too much. And he's going straight into Hydralisk. He's got the Grooved Spines upgrade on the way. And meanwhile, Tails here has stopped production on that Stargate. And he is going into a robotics facility, a couple of Forges, and a Twilight Council. So going to be transitioning into just about anything. I mean, if he goes into High Templars, he's fine. He's going to be able to own those Hydras with some Storms. If he goes into Colossus, he'll be fine. He'll be able to own the Hydras with some Colossus. So... either choice here really going to be fine as long as he doesn't go into Blink Stalkers or Archons.
Yeah, I mean, Blink Stalkers are obviously bad, but they can still work, and we actually see viOlet getting a Spire here. The thing I want to note is, you know, that Void Ray pressure didn't really do a lot, but despite that, our Protoss is actually ahead on Harvesters. That is a pretty big deal at this point in the game, and these super early... Sorry, go ahead, you can...
Well, I mean, it is... Shakira's Plateau. Very hard to secure a third, and though he's at 63 probes, he's not mining very efficiently. You can't have 31 probes on a base. Like, that's literally just way too many. Right now,
they work really hard.
He's got 24 probes on his natural minerals, and like there are 8 mineral patches. Thankfully, it's not one of those 7 mineral patch expansions, but that's still like 3. Now he's up to 25 probes on those mineral patches. So that's 3 probes per mineral patch. That is so inefficient. Now, some Phoenixes over here are trying to snipe an Overlord. It's barely going to survive as the Hydras there drive those suckers away. A macro hatch going down, +1 missile attacks, and great creep spread here coming from viOlet.
Oh yeah, exceptional creep spread, and you are absolutely correct. I mean, he has a nice amount of probes, but if he can't figure out a way to secure this third, which he is going for it now, so great third timing. If he can't secure that, though, these probes are going to go... They're going to be an utter waste. He has a ton of Chrono Boost saved up. He is finally dropping those on upgrades, so that is very good. It's going to be interesting to see where these players go from here, because we saw the Spire. We now see a Macro Hatch coming out. A ton of Mutilas. That's a pretty cool switch. 15. And I don't think our Protoss players are going to be ready for this at all. In fact, all he has to deal with Mutas right now are Sentries.
No, yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, man, he's in a lot of trouble. He lost one of his Phoenixes as well, so he's only got 1 Phoenix left, 6 Sentries, and 4 Stalkers. And you know what? 15 Mutas will have no trouble with that at all. So viOlet here is going to be in a great position to do a lot of damage. Here goes the flock of Mutas. He's got 4 more on the way and +1 flyer, and he even snipes the Phoenix.
Yeah, but the Phoenix does get a good scout off, so at least, our Protoss player has that in his favor. But he doesn't have Blink. He doesn't have any way to move from base to base. These Mutas are so fast. They're going to be able to do so much damage.
Yeah, and there he does pull his probes immediately, so that's pretty good. Only 3 of them there getting sniped, and a couple more there from the Assimilator. But he does drive out the Mutas the right way. viOlet here just trying to snipe that Assimilator. And this is something we're seeing more and more. Earlier on in the cast, you were talking about Crazy Moving versus Liquid Hero. How many times did he kill that Assimilator? like 50
Oh, yeah.
times, and that is so huge, man, because you're cutting your Protoss opponent, who is basically dependent upon gas to get out his High Templars, his Archons, to make sure he's staying on top of his upgrades, and like almost every single unit in the Protoss army costs gas. So if you're limiting him from an extra like 150 gas per minute, that's actually huge.
Yeah, and we actually see he's going for a straight push in the army, and this is actually, it might work. He's at least going to get the Colossus, which is huge. These 3 Hydras should really join the mix, but not a huge deal. Getting those 2 Colossus, though, that's so very nice. Those were such heavy investments by a Protoss player. I also want to point out the assimilator thing. Also, every time you make a Protoss pull his guys off of minerals, he has to remember to put his probes back into the assimilator, and if we look at Tails' main, he did not remember on his right assimilator, so he's losing so much gas right now.
Yeah, that's killing him, man. Quite literally, it could kill him. I mean, he's floating 500, 600 minerals, only 100 gas, so we see how much it's hurting him. And meanwhile, he's got the threat of those mutas, and he's trying to force out as many Stalkers as possible. But now that he just lost those Colossus, these Zerglings are going to be so effective versus those Stalkers. Tails here in a lot of trouble from his former teammate. As I've learned, he's apparently not on Complexity MVP anymore.
Oh, well, viOlet, yeah, he's coming back in with these mutas here. A couple cannons are up, but this mutaflock is just getting to that devastating number. He's going to kill cannons and probes here, one of the great things about Blade Worms. Probes pulled a bit late, but look at the damage these mutas are doing, and they can just fly back out. Oh, if he gets that pylon, that's huge. Upgrades are going to be delayed for so long. Good blink by Tails, but...
And now he goes into the natural right after the blink from Tails, so I actually think that was a bad blink, right? Because now he wasn't able to blink in as quickly to the natural, and a lot of probes just died. Now he's going over to the third. The cannons are a bit too far forward, and Tails, they're going to prematurely, or not prematurely, but preemptively pull his probes, so he's actually going to be able to save them. But down goes 2 assimilators and another 3 probes.
So devastating. These Mutalisks just doing work. And look, back in Tails' main, hasn't been able to put his guys back on the geyser. In his natural, he's missing guys on one of his geysers. This is like the untold hero of this entire game. He is not going to have any gas. He's scrambling to deal with these Mutalisks, and he is, he is killing a good bit of them, but man, they're just doing so much damage.
Well, I mean, viOlet's on 4 base right now, and he takes his extractors immediately. Like, if you look at this 4th base in the bottom position, he's only mining gas from that, essentially. And he actually didn't set the rally points. So he's got extra mutas there that he's just not even realizing exist.